Welcome back to another edition of the Penn State 365 podcast. As always, I'm your host, Richie O'Leary, and today I'm joined by my co-host, Dylan Callahan-Crawley of Happy Valley Insider, pennstate.rivals.com, at Penn State Rivals on any social media network. Blue White Weekend, it's officially over. Dylan, I want to get your high-level takeaways of what you saw, since if you didn't attend the game, you didn't see shit.
Yeah, that's definitely one way to put it, with the game not being televised, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was it was an entertaining spring game compared to the last few years. Spring games, can get quite nonchalant's not the right word, but they can get quite boring. I mean, this one definitely had moments and periods where it was a little bit, more on the boring side, but it was fast paced. It was, they kept the ball moving, which was the nice part. There wasn't much dead time. This was very much a practice for Penn State. They kept it moving. They didn't waste their time. They didn't waste our time, which is always good. And I think all in all, the game only took an hour and a half or so. So I mean, it was on that end, it was an entertaining game for, I think, those who attended. What did we see? First of all, we didn't see. I mean, I think offensively, what stood out to me was that the Penn State wide receiver room is definitely in a much better spot than it was even 4 months ago in the college football playoffs. I mean, you look back at that Notre Dame game, no wide receivers had a reception in that game, and they were quite quiet in the SMU game and the Boise State game as well. It was a big question mark coming into the season. The two transfers, Kyron Hutz and Devontae Ross, both were impressive. I think Devontae Ross definitely showed that he has the potential to be a big play threat for the Nittany Lions this upcoming season. Kyron Hudson is just going to be a really nice, strong-handed wide receiver who's going to be able to make those tough catches when needed as well. I think both are going to have really good roles for Penn State this year. Beyond that, we saw plenty of a lot of the young guys, really. I mean, Tyzer Denmark flashed a bit. We saw Lyric Samuel have a nice touchdown reception off a really good Jackson Smolik pass. So Lyric, it's definitely still raw. I don't know if he's going to see the field this upcoming fall, but definitely a lot to like there out of him. That Kobe Howard looked good for his first spring game. I think he has a really good chance to get the green light this upcoming fall. And the rest of the room was solid as well. Those are, the wide receivers that really stuck out to me. Tight end room was solid as expected. Not everybody was fully available on either side of the ball, but those who did play were solid there. Offensive line, we saw, quite a few different personnel. And no major takeaways there, but I thought overall pretty solid on that end of thing, on that side of things as well.
So let me ask you this. Let's get right to it. The biggest controversy, I guess, from this game is Jackson Smolik versus Grunkemeyer.
Yeah.
Do you have a kind of an inkling of where this is going to end up? Because it seems like it's turning into like a legit QB2 battle versus where I feel like we just felt Grunk was going to be the guy.
Yeah, I think we definitely maybe underestimated Jackson Smolik coming off this injury. Did miss all of last season, but there's been a good buzz around Jackson Smolik this spring, and the spring game, I thought he was the best of the quarterbacks. Now, Drew wasn't asked to do all too much. There was a quite pedestrian day from Drew. That was to be expected. Drew's going to be fine. He's going to be one of the top quarterbacks in the country next year. I have no concerns about him this upcoming season. But yeah, Jackson was really good. He had a couple really nice throws on the run. The one to Lyric Samuel, he rolled out to his left, I believe, got his body situated, got on his back foot, and threw a perfect pass down the field to Lyric Samuel for a touchdown. I think we may have shared a clip of that on
X. One of our friends at Priority Media took a pretty good video of that. I'm going to see if I can pop it up real quick.
But No, I think Jackson Smoke overall just really does have a chance here to win that number 2 job this fall. I think it's neck and neck going into fall practices here.
All right, here it is. Let's go back a little bit. Yeah, Jackson Smollett rolls out a little bit left, chucks it, and then Lyric Samuel, great hands. Oh, I actually used his body on that one, but he's shown off his hands all spring
Yeah.
practice long. Jeez, can't talk. I think the biggest knock on him, and I've been pretty adamant, like he is my favorite receiver of that freshman class. I've been saying this for a while now, actually.
I think he's
He
got the
just needs
highest
to gain,
ceiling for sure.
yeah, just needs to gain weight, man. And his route
Yeah.
running is probably a little busted. He probably needs to
Yeah,
help out a little
and we
bit
saw
there.
there he used his body there. So I mean, there's plenty of things to clean up, but uh, when you talk about athleticism and size, there he has a unique package in that aspect that Penn State has not really had in that room really over the last couple of seasons. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
don't think he's going to have a huge impact this upcoming season, especially after adding Trevor Pena this past weekend.
Huge.
But he's going to have a chance to be a really good player for Penn State in the future. And same thing with Kobe Howard and Matthew Alden. I know Howard Howard's probably the least athletic of the group and maybe the lowest ceiling, quote unquote. But I think he has the highest floor. I think he has
Mm-hmm.
a chance to be, a nice little target this upcoming season. And then Alden kind of fits that Lyric Samuel mold. Athletic, maybe not as big, but athletic. Has all the tools to be a really game changer at the position. Just needs to kind of put it all together, a little bit raw still. But for the crap that Marcus Higgins has gotten, he is definitely has that wide receiver room, at least talent wise, heading in the right direction. They revamped the wide receiver room
Mm-hmm.
this offseason fantastically. I think obviously you still don't have that number one guy, but this is much like that 2022 team where I think you have three guys that right now you could throw the ball to any given week and have a pretty good feeling that they're going to be able to make the plays when needed. And
Mm-hmm.
you got a couple guys like a Tyzier Denmark, like a Kobe Howard, and a couple other guys in there. Obviously, Anthony Ivy still in that room. Uh, Sean
Liam.
Liam Clifford is in that room, and you have guys that can still add some solid depth to the position as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been very adamant about my hate for Marquise Higgins and lack of development in that position group, but he's done a hell of a job this offseason. Those wide receivers are
I will say though, with these three wide receivers coming in, make or break for Marcus Higgins this year. If this
still,
wide
yeah,
receiver room is not good again in 2025, then he is going to be in a very deep hole at the end of the season. But
yeah, for sure.
they look good this Saturday, which is important for Penn State, and we'll see if they can continue that development into the summer and into fall camp.
Yeah, and for more on that and Trevor Pena's commitment, we have another podcast that we uploaded a couple days ago. Check that out on our YouTube or Spotify, Apple, whatever you're listening to us on. So anyway, let's kind of stick with the blue white game. Kind of a pretty big recruiting weekend, not as big as it's been in the past, but still pretty solid.
Yeah.
Some notable names here. I just want to know what you think the latest is on some of these names. Start with the wide receiver, Davion Brown, coming up for Virginia again. We know he's heavily pursued by a couple different programs at the moment.
Yeah, no, I think with Davion Brown, Penn State is in a pretty all around solid spot. This is a very winnable recruitment for them. If you look at those official visits he does have scheduled, Duke, Virginia Tech, I believe, Penn State, Syracuse. No, not Virginia Tech. Syracuse, Penn State, and Duke.
Georgia, too.
Is that one official?
Yeah,
Or is that
June
just
13th, he'll be there.
all right? Yeah. On our side
That's
right now it says unofficial, so I'll probably just have to fix
yeah,
that.
that needs to be fixed, actually. I'm looking at that now.
But if he does take that, all four of those visits, still very winnable recruitment here for Penn State. Good to get him back on campus. It was a while since he was on campus last November. So I think Penn State's in a good spot for Davion Brown right now. Obviously, we'll have to close the deal this summer, but again, I think they're in a really nice spot for him as things stand right now.
Yeah, I would keep an eye on Michigan, too. I know he just visited there recently, mid-April. Sounds like they're going to try to get him on an official visit. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. So
Yeah,
kind of wait
I
and see, I
know.
guess.
And I know Adam Gorney last month said that Georgia, it sounded like, was at the top of his list. I will say that I think this is a Penn State Georgia battle going into um, the summer, and if that is an official visit in June, then definitely, I fully believe that it's going to be one of those two programs. And Penn State does recruit Virginia very well, so I think that could give them a slight edge here over Georgia, especially if you want to count in the Marquise Hagan's connections down in Virginia as well.
Yeah. Next up, Grayson McHugh, one of Pennsylvania's top prospects, number 4 in the state, number 25 overall offensive tackle in the country. Back on campus again. Sounds like it's always been Penn State or Notre Dame, but Duke is kind of sneaking in there. They have an official visit with them too. Yeah. Do we feel like Penn State's kind of the front runner a little bit here?
I would, I'm not FutureCast territory for him, but I think this is Penn State's maybe recruitment to lose right now. Definitely seems like they have had the edge throughout. Duke. Whenever I see Duke on an official visit list, and a kid has numerous better offers from a football perspective, I always have to think education is of high importance. So when education is thrown into the fold like that, not that Penn State is a poor education school, but when you're factoring education, I think it does, can throw things a little bit off in terms of that. We've seen kids commit to Stanford over, having offers from some of the best programs in the country. Mm-hmm. So I do think that is something to monitor there, but Penn State checks a lot of the education boxes too. And I think they're in a really good spot for Grayson here. Head into the summer. Hopefully we can catch up with him here soon after this visit as well.
Luke Wafel, defensive end, brothers on team now. New Jersey kid, Hun School guy. How we feel that one kind of went. I know, obviously we know we've had a future casting, I think, for Penn State for a little bit now. Or I have at least. I don't know if you submitted one.
Sorry, can you repeat who that was?
Luke Wafel.
Luke Wafel, yes. Sorry, I was reading. Adam Gorney had a Grayson update actually earlier today, just saying that it was another strong visit for him as well. And then Penn State is still very much one of the front runners for him. Notre Dame also, like you said, at the top of that list. Luke Wafel. Yeah, me and Zach, Zach talked about this on Thursday, Friday. It really should be with Luke a when, not if situation, I think. I definitely feel like Penn State's a front runner. Probably could submit a future cast if I wanted to right now, and I am getting close to wanting to. It's been they've been very clear since Owen came to Penn State that them playing together has been, a thing that they would definitely, like to do if possible at the next level. Penn State's hosted Luke a bunch of times. He always loves those visits. I think he's going to enjoy the recruiting process, take those official visits, but at the end of the day, I'd be very, very surprised if Luke Wafel ends up in anything other than the blue and white.
Fair enough. Another defensive lineman, projected defensive tackle. I think we have a defensive end right now. Brian Harris comes up from Florida, former Maryland commit. Seems pretty high on the program right now. Could be next up.
Yeah, and that's one that our good buddy Garcia put in a future cast for him way back in February. I haven't gotten to talk to Brian myself much just yet, but Garcia is usually pretty strong on getting a read on those Florida prospects, so I definitely think Penn State's still in a good spot for him. Take that official visit in June, and I think Penn State has a very good chance again this one across the finish line. Penn State emerged right after that Maryland decommitment as one of the top contenders here, and if not the team to beat, still have that feeling after this official visit. Hopefully we catch up with him here this week.
I'm not going to go too much more in depth in this list. You can read more about it, but I got one more name for you. We know Joey O'Brien didn't end up going to campus. Is probably the better wording for it. But I want to ask you about Terry Wiggins, the linebacker / edge rusher out of Coatesville area. Do we feel like this is kind of Penn State's battle to lose almost?
My reading of it, yes, I think this is a Penn State's recruitment to lose. Like you said, Terry has been at Penn State a ton in his recruitment, and even though his stock has risen throughout the cycle, he continues to come back to Penn State. Always has high things to say about Penn. Excuse me. Always high things to say about Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
The other official visits are very winnable. I mean, this Syracuse, Cincinnati, Kentucky. Already took that Kentucky official visit earlier this month. Definitely seems like Penn State should, uh, be the team to beat here. And I think, to me, Syracuse under Fran Brown definitely changed little aspects, but I think, Kentucky may have been the biggest, team to watch here, just for what they can sell being an SEC team. Maybe I'm just, not being a big believer in Syracuse right now, even though Fran Brown's a hell of a recruiter. But yeah, definitely think this is Penn State's recruitment to lose. As long as Penn State wants Terry Wiggins, I think Penn State's going to get Terry Wiggins. Now the question is if Penn State is waiting on Terry Wiggins to potentially commit at some point, and other guys want in, will Penn State take other guys over Terry Wiggins?
Yeah.
And that's always a possibility. I mean, that's happened plenty of times. That's already happened this cycle where they've been willing to take a prospect, but prospects who wait too long to make a decision and then lose their spots. It happens every cycle, and it happens with a lot of PA kids, especially. They have their opportunity to jump on board, take their sweet time doing so, which that's fine. That's their prerogative, their recruitment. But if you take your time, you're going to lose your spot at some schools, and that could be just something to watch with Terry Wiggins. Not saying it will be, but as this cycle heads into the summer, spots are going to fill up quickly once official visits start.
Yeah, for sure. All right, that's basically all we got from Blue White Weekend. If you want to read more, Dylan, you have your takeaways on the site.
Yeah,
A bunch of videos. More clips are coming out as we speak from our videographer, so we'll have some photos up too soon.
Yeah, I'll just say the last thing on the Blue White game that I want to quickly touch on.
Yeah, shoot.
Maryland defensive end Yvonne Kamaju.
Yeah.
Still learning that pronunciation there. Got second string defense reps this weekend, opposite of Zariah Fisher. So I mean, it seems like he's in a great spot to get the green light this upcoming fall and be part of that defensive end rotation for Penn State. I don't think he's going to be necessarily be second string defense this upcoming season, but I think he's going to be a factor in that rotation as the season progresses.
Yeah, for sure. NFL draft. Let's talk a little bit about this. Now, I don't even need to really dive into the Abdul Carter stuff just because we knew he was going basically number 3.
Yep.
Love it, though, for the Giants because my Giants have a fucking dominant defensive line. Oh, my God. It's insane. Just giving you a heads up of what to expect this season. You can still pass on us because our back 7 stinks, but the front 4 is good. But how shocked are you? Tyler Warren wasn't the first tight end off the board.
In the moment, shocked, but after thinking about it for 5 minutes, once to pick happened, not too surprised. McDonald just came from the Lions. Colston Loveland is sorry, did I say Giants? The Lions?
I said the Lions. You're right.
Yeah. Colston Loveland is basically a Sam Laporta clone. So I'm not surprised that he took a Sam Laporta clone with that pick if they're going to take a tight end. I do think Tyler Warren is a better tight end. I'm not 100%. Sure. I mean, Indy was always going to be the spot, it seems, for Tyler, but not necessarily sure it's the best spot for him just because that franchise is terribly ran. But I am very happy for Tyler. I think he has a chance to be really, really good in the NFL. Hopefully, for his sake, the Colts, get it together this season, and maybe he'll have a competent quarterback throwing to him. We'll see.
Daniel Jones, Anthony Richardson, Riley Leonard. No,
okay. Competent is carrying a lot there, but
yeah, honestly, that is a hell of a quarterback room there. But either way, I think Tyler will be fine. Hell, at this point, maybe you just start putting him back there for a couple snaps.
I mean, we know what he can do.
Yeah, get a little creative. But other two guys that got drafted, KJ Winston to the Titans in the third, and Kobe King to the Vikings in the sixth.
Jalen Reed went in the sixth too.
Oh, I forgot Jalen Reed too. Jalen Reed also went in the sixth. Yes,
Yeah.
correct. To the Packers, I believe it was. I believe so. I gotta look back at that one.
I think Texans.
Was it? Maybe you're right. Maybe it was.
Yeah, Texans.
Yeah, you are correct. Any thoughts on, I guess, those three guys? I mean, I thought Jalen Reed would go a little bit earlier than that.
Yeah, no, I was surprised Jalen Reed fell that far in the draft. I think he has a great chance to, make that roster down there in Houston and be a really productive safety for a long time. Kobe, I'm very interested to see how he progresses in the NFL. If the athleticism is going to hold him back at all, I think he could be a really good special teams guy, maybe a backup linebacker, but definitely have a little bit of concerns about the athleticism translating to NFL. KJ Winston, a little upset that the Eagles didn't pick him when they picked a safety, just because I think he was maybe the best safety in the entire draft. If he was healthy, he would have been a first-round pick probably, or early second. So as an Eagles fan, with a need at safety, would have liked that pick. But I think that's going to be an absolute steal for the Titans. If he stays healthy, they got one of the best safeties in this class.
Yeah. Just all about health for him. And then Kobe's just got to get faster, man. If he can get faster, he could be good. Like,
he's a really smart football player, which is going to help him. I guess it just depends how much is that athleticism going to hold him back.
Very true. Undrafted free agents, Lee Wormley, Baltimore Ravens, was pretty quick pickup there. So I like that.
Good for Wormley.
Yeah, Maryland guy. I like that for him. I think he could sneak onto a roster there. Because Izzard, sorry. Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, hell of a landing spot.
Yeah, there was a report from Onward, I think, that he signed a 3-year deal as an undrafted free agent, which I haven't heard much.
Huge. I mean,
yeah, they said that was from his agent. So I mean, if true, that is huge for him. I haven't heard many times, if ever, of an undrafted free agent signing a multi-year deal like that. But I'm sure
high priority. Yeah,
I'm sure it's happened before. But I don't know. I don't even know how many picks the Chiefs had this year. So it makes sense. But, I mean, if accurate, that's huge for him.
Yeah, and last but not least, Jalen Kimber sneaks on a team, Tennessee Titans. So he'll be joining his former teammate in KJ Winston. So that's pretty cool.
And Julian got picked up by the Packers.
Oh, yes, Julian Fleming did get picked up by the Packers.
Come through at some point yesterday.
You're a little shocked Vanover didn't get a shot?
Now that you...
I've looked everywhere, so
now that you mentioned it, yeah, that is a little surprising. That is definitely surprising.
I think he's the only other one that I could think of off the top of my head.
As of right now, yeah.
Not even like a rookie minicamp invite or anything like yet. I'm a little shocked by that, but maybe he's just waiting it out.
It's not like he was a guy who had an undrafted grade. Many expected him to be or have a chance to go in the 6th, 7th round. So the fact that he's still out there is definitely really eye-raising. I do wonder why that is.
I don't know. Last but not least, 2026 mocks are starting already. This is fun. Drew is the second best odds to be the top quarterback taken in the draft per, I think it's BetMGM or one of those betting apps. Also, I saw PFF had denied Dennis Sutton as a late first. They also had AJ Harris as a late first. Do we think all three probably go first round next year?
I think Penn State is. I would say Drew is, barring a terrible, terrible season, and I would never say lock, but I think barring a terrible season, Drew is 90% likely to go in the first.
Yeah.
Deny is probably in that 80-85%. Just because he's going to dominate the combine. So even if he has a Jason Owe type season where he just doesn't get sacks for some reason, he's still going to go first round.
Sure.
AJ Harris is interesting. Third team All Big Ten this year, I think, or was he?
I thought he was. Yeah, you might be right on that.
Yeah, I think it was third team. One of the best cornerbacks in the country. Definitely think he has a chance to go first round this cup coming next year. Yeah, maybe probably say right now third or second as it stands today, but he definitely has the capabilities to go in the first round with a strong season.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out.
I did look up one mock draft that has Drew going 19th next year to the Steelers, which whatever, but they have him as the fourth quarterback taken, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, that's behind obviously Arch. Everyone loves Arch. So Lenore Sellers is probably 2. Who's the third?
It was Klubnik and then Lenore Sellers.
Oh, Klubnik. Yeah, I don't like him, man. I'm shocked how so many people are like obsessed with him.
Yeah, right now I think if I think Drew has a good shot of being top quarterback off the board next year. Obviously, it depends what Arch does. I know there's been some rumors that since he doesn't really need the money, that he's gonna just stay in college, get that development, and then go. But we'll see this time next year what the final verdict was there.
Yeah, I'd be shocked to be honest. I just feel like that's like you're insane for not leaving, especially if you're like a guaranteed like top 10 pick. Like, why stay?
Yeah, we've seen it before.
We are now entering kind of a dull period of college athletics. Recruiting still in full swing. There's no spring practices anymore. There's no one really saying much. They're hitting the portal. We didn't really touch on that too much, but they will be hosting various linebackers this week. If you want more on that, check out Dylan's article on pennstate.rivals.com. 1, 2, 3 linebackers are projected to host this week. That's basically it. I mean, I guess I could say the names. Muhammad Toure, it's pretty out there. Amari Campbell from UNC, and Shea Taylor from Ohio. What order they're going to be hosted? It sounds like midweek visits for Toure and Taylor, weekend visit for Amari Campbell. So you know what? I say that. I take that back. It could be a dull period, but it also could have another podcast this upcoming weekend. So stay tuned for that because could be some good news coming down the line. We know they want a linebacker. James was pretty adamant about it post game.
Yeah. I mean, they've had a good transfer portal offseason already. Add another linebacker to that room, which obviously I don't think is necessarily a necessity, but they definitely need to add some length to that depth chart with Tamir Robinson gone. So definitely think a linebacker addition, which very well is likely to be one of the 3 guys we discussed in that article over at pennstate.rivals.com, would be good additions. And for those who read the article, there is one guy that Penn State appears to be the leader for, I would say, heading into their potential visit coming up. So that would be really good for Penn State if they could pick that player up.
Yeah. So as always, stay tuned to the boards. We also have a promo going on if you're not on the boards yet. Buy 1 month, get 3 months free. So 4 months for $9.99 basically. That promo code is B1G3F. Who came up with it? I don't know. I think that's a dumb promo code, personally. I would have done it a little bit differently or just made them personalized for every site, but neither here nor there. B1G3F gets you 4 months free. The latest on the recruiting weekend, the latest on the upcoming portal linebackers, the latest on who Dylan just hinted at. They are the favorite for a portal guy. So stay tuned for all that. Stay tuned on the Happy Valley Insider podcast, our YouTube channel down below. Hit subscribe. 5-star reviews only on Spotify, Apple, etc., Google, whatever you're listening to us on. For me and Dylan, that's another episode. The Penn State 365 podcast, signing off.